Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Enakast Pertunia. I am back with another makeup video for you guys. If it's the first time joining me, thank you so much for coming through, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you can definitely do that in the subscription button down below. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. You know how we do this. And yeah, on today's video I'm gonna be showing you how I achieved this look. So if you want to see how I did that, then you need to keep on watching. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. So yes. So first things first, I'm gonna be working on the brows. So I'm basically gonna be doing the brows back and forth. So I'm just starting out with the got to be glued to make sure that my brows are in place and they're well combed. And so this is a new routine that I've just started doing because I've noticed how it helps my brows, and it gives me that fluffy type of natural brow. So I like that. So this is the newest to my makeup routine. You can also try it and see how it works for you, or not. Anything that works for you, definitely you can do that. So this is what works for me at the moment and I'm loving it. So this is what I do. And then after that, I just went on with my primer. You already know this primer because I've been using this primer for quite a long time. I'm using the LA Girl primer. It's really good for like enlarged pores. It makes your skin very smooth. It makes your foundation last longer, basically your whole makeup to last longer. So this is what I use. You can actually see from just my forehead, like it's very smooth even before I applied my foundation. And then I went on with my foundation. I'm using the Clarins foundation. I really love this foundation because it's full coverage, and also it's not matte, it's also not too dewy, and yeah, it's really good for my skin. So I really love this foundation as well. I've been using it for quite some time, and I'm going in with my damp beauty blender to just blend out my foundation. I normally use a beauty blender because I feel like it blends very well compared to a brush, or maybe it's just me, I don't know, or maybe I should just try the brushes as well. But so far I feel like a beauty blender, for me, it blends everything well. So yeah, I'm just blending out my foundation and making sure that it's spread out, it's well blended, and I get the coverage that my skin needs, because really right now my skin is pretty bad. Like I have so many blemishes on my skin and also a bit of pigmentation around the eyes. So I love this foundation so much. It covers all of the imperfections. So yeah, just keep on watching to see how all this look turns out. Now that I have blended my foundation, I went on with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn and Pure Beige, just to apply on the middle parts of my face, and I let it sit for some minutes just to dry down a little bit more while I work on the brows, because obviously I had to wait for the glue to dry down. So now that it's dry, I went in with my eyebrow pencil to just line my eyebrows, and after lining the brows, then I had to go back to the concealer to just blend it out. So I've noticed that leaving the concealer to dry down a little bit, it helps with the coverage, and it does not move a lot on my skin, on my face. So that's why I have started using this method as well, because it gives me the coverage I need. I then went on with the same beauty blender that I used to blend out my foundation, to just blend all the concealer on my face and make sure that everything was blended well, nice into the skin. And guys, please excuse the sniffing that you can hear, because I had a little bit of flu, so I still sniff a little bit, so excuse my voice and the sniffing in this voice over. But yeah, I'm just continuing to blend everything, melt everything into the skin. And I'm blending my concealer, making sure that I drag it up to my eyelids. That way I'm also priming that area and preparing it for the application of the eyeshadow. And also after blending everything nice into the skin, I go back with my Clarins powder to just set the areas that I've highlighted. And I love this powder because it's very smooth, very soft, and it makes my skin very smooth, and that's why I really love it. And I do not experience creasing using this powder, so that's why it's my favorite powder. So I'm just making sure that all the points that I've highlighted are actually also set, and we avoid I then went back in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn to clean my brows, making sure that they were nice and shaped the way I wanted them to be. I did not really use a lot of that, but just a little bit to make sure that they were clean and they were nicely shaped. And then I went on with my beauty blender to just blend out everything else that was there, to make sure that everything was seamless, everything was blended nicely. So we're now going to be moving on to contouring. So to contour, I'm going to be using the Kryolan foundation in the shade D16. This shade is a little dark, so that's why I'm using it to contour my face with. It's more like a cream contouring. I like it because obviously it's not too dark, it's not too light, it's the right shade to contour with. So I'm just making sure that I'm contouring the forehead, I'm contouring the lower parts of my cheekbones as well, to bring back the colors into the skin, because obviously highlighting and setting the face, like we use like lighter colors. So with the contouring, it brings back all the colors into the skin, so they all blend well. And then I'm also gonna be setting those areas using the Essence Contouring Duo palette. And this palette does not have like names in it, so but I just used the darker shade in the palette to just set my contour, making sure that everything was blended, everything was set. I then went on with the same beauty blender to blend everything. You know, obviously if you are doing your makeup, you need to blend, because if you don't blend enough, then it will not look very nice. So I blended everything, and then now I'm doing the reverse contour with the same Clarins powder, making sure that I cut that cheekbone to pop even more. Obviously I have chubby cheeks, so this step actually helps to create an illusion that I have like a nice shaped cheekbones, even though they're not there. Your girl has chubby cheeks. So this is the contouring palette that I was talking about, the Essence one. I'm just blending everything, and then I'm setting my contour using this Essence contouring palette. Now we are moving on to eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using the Kryolan palette, and I'm gonna start off with that darker shade in the corners of my eyes, and I'm just gonna blend that into the eyelids. So I don't go overboard with that, just a little bit of that, and then I apply it on the the outer corners of my eyelids, and then making sure that I just pack it in there. I did not really blend it, I just packed it in there, and then I used another lighter shade to just blend everything well, and then to drag it out a little bit more using the same brush. Just keep on watching to see how I did that, and I'm showing you all the colors that I use, even though I did not mention the colors, the shades, but you are basically gonna see all the shades that I'm using, even though the names are not mentioned. So you just have to keep on watching to see how I achieved that. And yeah, I'll and now that I'm done with the darker shade, I went on with the same concealer to cut my crease. You already know the concealer that I use mostly in this channel, which is the LA Girl Pro concealer. I went in with that to cut my crease, and then after that I'm just gonna be using the same eyeshadow palette from Kryolan to apply on top of that concealer. And this time I opted for like a matte shade instead of the shimmer shade. And basically this look, I'm actually recreating this look. If you've seen my previous video, it's exactly like this. The makeup of that video is exactly like this. I did that video and I took some pictures, and then there was this guy who was like, did you create a video of that makeup? And I was like, no, I actually did not. He's like, that looks really nice, it would be nice to create that makeup. So I decided that I'm gonna recreate that makeup. So here I am, and that's the shade that I'm gonna use. It's like a matte shade. That's what I'm gonna apply on top of that foundation. It's very light, it's very pinky. I like it. It's something new for me because I've never really done anything like this. I mostly do like the shimmer shades when it comes to cut creases, but this time around I opted for something matte, and I love how it all came out. It came out really nice, and I'm definitely gonna do this again because yeah, I really loved the end result of this. And then I went in with that darker shade to just close my crease, making sure that everything is blended, and then there are no separations between the darker shade and the lighter shade. Obviously there is the separation, but it's not like an obvious thing, so it needs to blend together. So that's what I'm doing now, just blending everything together. And then after blending all that together, I went in with the blue shade to apply on my lower lash line. Like I said, this is something I've never really done before, and then I went on with that blue shade to just line my lower lash line, making sure it's blended well, everything was perfect. And then after blending all that together, I went in with my Essence eyeliner. It's a liquid liner, so I went on to line my eyes with a little bit of a wing, not too much, but yeah, a little bit of a wing. I love winging it. Every time when I do my makeup, it always has that wing. Most of the time, not all the time, most of the time I always do the winging. And now I'm going in with my mascara as well. It's from Essence. I love Essence mascaras, are the bomb. They are perfect anytime, any day. The volume is just so great. That's why I always opt for those mascaras. And now I'm just dusting off all the fallout. And then I went on with my blusher. Oh my gosh, this blusher I love the color of it. I love consistency, and I love the fact that it's a little bit more reddish orange-ish. I actually do not know what color is this, but what I know is that I love it. It's so bright, it's just popping. I really love this color. It's in the shade Terra Cotta. I really am so proud of myself for picking this color. For a blusher I would have never thought, but hey, look at what I've done. It's so nice. And then I went on to highlight my face. I'm using the same old broken highlighter that you know. It's from Miss Royale Glow Kit, and I'm using that for my cheeks, and I'm using that for the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose as well. But before the nose, I went in with my setting spray. I don't know why I was doing that before finishing the whole thing, but hey, that's what I did. I went in with my setting spray, and then after setting my face, then I went back to the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose to also highlight those parts. And then I went on to my brow bone as well to highlight that part. If you can see, like, the look is just coming out so nicely. From the beginning you would have thought like this, it's never gonna be nice, but now as we're approaching the end, it's really looking good. And then I went on in the inner corners of my eyes to just put in that pop of some glitter, of some gold, of some shimmer, is whatever you'd like to call it. But yeah, I went in with that, and then I went on to the nose as well, even though I went a little overboard when it comes to the nose. But hey, I'm so glad at the end it all came out nice. So I'm using my finger to just highlight even more, making sure that it's all blended, because obviously I had applied a little more on the nose. And then I went in with a brush as well to just lighten up the gold in my nose. So I'm like a gold woman. I know I went a little overboard, but yeah, at the end it all came out very nice. So yeah, And then I also went on to my Cupid's bow to apply a little bit of that highlighter, and I have already done my lips off camera. And for my lips I applied the Miss Signature lipstick. It's in the shade, what's the shade of that lipstick? It's Cashmere. Yes, I've applied that, and then I'm adding a little bit more of the blush. Obviously I told you that I love this blush. I love how it makes my cheeks pop. So yeah, I went off as well to remove that head wrap, and then I did my lashes, and now I'm back with the full look. Look how that looks. I mean, like, who wouldn't like that? It's so pretty. I am so in love with this look, and I'm glad it came out so nice. Thank you guys for tuning in, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and also share my videos. I was just trying out to see how the selfies would be looking, and they really looked pretty good. So yeah, I will see you in my next upload. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Loads of love.